Hello and welcome back to yet another practice game, the highlights of which no doubt we will analyse in another video later on, but in this video, as per usual, we'll play this practice game right through. So let's make a start. White rolls a 3, black rolls a 1. So white must play a 3 and a 1, and the standard opening move for 3 and 1 is to anchor off here. It's a very desirable roll, a 3 and a 1, at the beginning of the game, or at most stages of the game. So black rolls a 6 and a 1, and likewise a very desirable roll, that one too. The standard opening move for 6 and 1 is to anchor off here. So white has anchored off a key point there, black has anchored off a key point here. So advantageous so far for both sides. White rolls a 4 and a 2. Now the standard move for a 4 and a 2 would be to anchor off this point here, but because white has already used the checker from here to anchor off that point, if he then tries to anchor off here, he'll leave that checker on its own. So yeah, 4 and a 2, well, a little bit awkward for white right now. So see, a 4 and a 2, if he tries to play that checker, he's going to move it to here, which will leave that checker on its own. That's not good either. So really the only other option left for white is to play 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 here. At least he's advanced these two checkers here. Look, I must say that a lot of people will tell you to play the 4 and a 2 there, hoping to then cover this checker here, but I just would not recommend that. You do not leave a checker on its own near your own quarter, especially if that checker's been at a starting point near your quarter. So I would not recommend that move at all. Don't listen to people who would tell you that you should play that move. So this would be the best move considering this overall situation here. So 6 and 4, black rolls a 6 and a 4. Now, as an opening move, a lot of people will play a 6, move that checker 4 spots here and that checker 6 spots there. I do not recommend that because you've effectively buried a couple of checkers. This is not a key point to anchor off, plus the fact that you don't want to leave that checker on its own. But even if there was a spare checker there, I would not recommend anchoring off a 6 and a 4 here. Not good at all. So the standard move that I recommend for a 6 and a 4 is to go 6 and then 4. That's a move I recommend generally for a 6 and a 4 if you can play it. As I've said in previous videos, if one of the dice ends up on a checker, we roll again because sometimes they can land crooked. So in order to avoid disputes, the universal law is if a dice does not land on the board properly, we just roll again. So that's not counted. So white rolls a 4 and a 1, which is a good roll because with a 4 and a 1, what he can do is just go 4 and 1 here, and now he's got a spare checker there in case he wants to anchor off here or here. So with a 4 and a 1, that's not a bad roll for white at all. Double 2. Now, double 2 is interesting here because, yeah, well, now we have to think carefully about this particular double 2 because if there were 2 checkers there, if that checker was back here, we would have played two here and then move two checkers, two spots here. But considering, what you can do is move those two checkers and do a hit there and then another hit here. But these two checkers are already in the opponent's quarter anyway, so hitting them is not going to be a big deal. Now I would play double two here for a start to close off or anchor off a key point here. There's not much else we can do with a double two. I mean, you could go 1-2 here and then 1-2 here, but I wouldn't really recommend that. I mean, I can't see that achieving that much. What we'll do, we will go, this is a little bit unorthodox, but we will go double two here, because that's now done a hit, and since these points are closed off here, it forces that checker back a little bit and nevertheless anchors. You've kind of left that point here empty, but you've still anchored off a point here and done a hit and forced the checker back. So I'd be inclined to play that. That's not a bad move. So that's what I'd be inclined to play under the circumstances. As I said, if that checker had been back here, it would have been different, but since that checker's there, we'll try that and see what happens. So now 3 and a 2, so that's a good roll for white, because white can get back with a 3 here, and basically he's anchored off these checkers here, and these checkers are not back here, they're here, which makes it easy for them to run, because being 2 spots ahead of this point here is quite advantageous. So he gets back with a 3 and hits with a 2. He's forced this checker back here, so that's, and considering this checker is still here, that's quite a good roll for white at the moment. So okay, see, there you go, that's just, well, gets back in with the 1, can't move 5, so that hit there has been very advantageous for white. Both of black's checkers are now forced back here, whereas these two checkers for white are advanced 2 spaces, so advantage for white. And what black can do next is to play the 5 here and build up one more checker there in case he can anchor off this point here. So 4 and a 2 for white. Now with a 4 and a 2 here, it's 4 and a 2 is interesting here. It's very, very interesting, because really white can anchor off here. See, the danger, white can play a 4 and a 2 there, where he can play that checker 2 spots there and and that checker 4 spots there and anchor off that point. But that leaves that checker on its own. And as I've said, that checker can only be hit with a 6 and a 4. Now, would white be willing to take that risk? Because if white plays a 4 and a 2 here and closes off a key anchoring point, anchors off a key point here, again, the risk is that black can only hit this checker with a 6 and a 4. But then if that checker gets hit, it gets forced back here. So that could create a problem for white. Yeah. Look, let's do an experiment here. Let's go 4 and 2 and anchor off here as well, because let's just see what happens. I don't have a feeling, I mean, the chances of black rolling a 6 and a 4 are pretty remote, but we've anchored off these points here. The other alternative would have been to play 2 there and 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So, but let's just try that and see what happens. So 5 and a 2, black does not roll a 6 and a 4. So With a 5 and a 2, not a terribly good roll, not a good roll at all. Well, you can't do much with this checker here. I mean, that point is anchored off, so you can't really play that checker, or you don't want to bury a checker there. So really, with a 5 and a 2 here, what I'd be inclined to do, the only move that I can see, I mean, you can go 2 here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's closed off there. So what I would do with a 5 and a 2, I would go 5, at least advance 1 checker there, and then advance that checker 2 spots there. Now that creates a problem for white here. White has to now do something about that checker, because that checker is now in danger of being hit with more combinations than just a 6 and a 4. So white's got to do something about that checker in a hurry. 3 and a 4. So, well, see, 4 and a 3, there is not, I mean, if white plays 4 here and then 3 there, that would be a bad move. That doesn't really build any ammunition to hit an anchor here, because you're only building checkers on 1 point here. So with a 4 and a 3, what I'd be inclined to do is to go 1, 2, 3. That rescues that checker. Now you could go 1, 2, 3, 4 and advance one of these 2 checkers, but these 2 checkers are in a pretty good position. They can run any time. They can't really get blocked in. Then it's not, I mean, again, as I said, if they were back here, that would have been a problem. But they're pretty comfortable there being anchored off. So what I'll do, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. That builds a couple of checkers there in case white can do a hit and an anchor. And again, force that checker back, possibly. So let's just build some ammunition there. Okay, 3 and a 2. What I would do with the 3 and a 2 here, I would advance those 2 checkers, that checker 2 points here. So now black has the same advantage as white. He's anchored off a point here where he can run those 2 checkers anytime he wants. So that's 2 there, and I would go 1, 2, 3 to build some nice ammunition here in case white leaves the checker on its own and he can do hit and anchor. So right now both sides are in a pretty good position. Okay, 5 and a 2 for white. A little bit awkward. I mean, he can go 5, but then you've got a problem with the 2. What are you going to move for the 2? I mean, you could then move 2 here, but not too keen about that. It's kind of burying a checker there, so I don't really want to bury a checker there. So let's just not play that for a second. Yeah, 1, 2. Well, those checkers can't move. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, for those 2 checkers, the 2 advancing by 2 points is blocked off there. Advancing with 5 points is likewise blocked off. And we've got 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those checkers can't move with that roll. So yeah, a little bit awkward. I don't like that very much. See, 5 has to be played there. You could then advance and go 1, 2, but that's not really building ammunition. I don't like that. That's creating a candlestick. So what I would be inclined to do is, to perhaps bury this checker anyway. I mean, that's not too bad. If you anchor off this point here and then do a hit later, it makes it difficult for black to get back in on the board. So that's not too bad there. We'll just try that. Okay, so black rolls a 5 and a 4. I don't like that roll very much. Yeah, I don't like it much at all. Look, you could go 5 and 4. With those two checkers, you could cover this point here in case there's a hit, but you've buried two checkers. Not sure if I like that very much. What I'm inclined to do is to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That checker's out, and that kind of leaves that on its own there. Now, for that, right now, it's difficult for white to hit that checker because there's a checker on its own here. So I don't think there's any roll, unless it's a double one or something, where white can safely hit that checker. So I don't feel too bad about leaving that checker on its own there. And in any case, that checker, one checker's out on a good point. So that's not too bad for black. Okay, white rolls a 6 and a, just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1. Let's just, these checkers can run any time. Let's anchor off there in case there's a hit. I just want to see if there can be a hit there. 5 and 4's just what the doctor ordered for black. This is brilliant. That move there didn't pay off for white because black just got a brilliant roll. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Both checkers are out. So very nice for black right now. 4 and a 2 for white. Now with a 4 and a 2, you could run with those two checkers, but again, as I said, those two checkers can run any time. So what we can do, let's advance those two checkers, 4 and 2. Let's get them close to home. And all those 4 checkers are close to white's own quarter. And these can run any time. Yet black's got more checkers further away from his own quarter. So really, I'd say the situation is pretty much even at the moment. All double 4, see, that changes everything. When you roll this kind of a double, it changes everything. I mean, it's just changed everything in black's favour. So what we will do, this is pretty unusual. I wouldn't normally play a move like this, but we'll just play the double 4 here. Advances all of those checkers towards his own quarter. So that was a very, very game-changing roll for black. So 4 and a 1, well, I don't want to leave any checker on its own there. Black's got lots of ammunition to do a hit and anchor if a checker is left on its own here. So I don't really, right now I don't want to move those two checkers. So with a 4 and a 1, I would be inclined to perhaps play 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 1. Just get one more checker in the quarter here. 6 and 2 for black. Yeah, 6 and a 2. Wow. Yeah, 6 and a 2. Yeah, it's, I mean, these checkers have to go into the home quarter now, really. That checker can't move 6 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't move 6 spots there. See, again, an advantage of anchoring off and advancing those two checkers here is that black can't move 2 checkers in his own quarter now because that point's blocked off for there. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2. Nice, safe move. Oh gosh, what a terrible. See, 2 and a 1 is, it is rarely a good roll. Very, very rare that 2 and a 1 is a good roll. Most of the time, it is a bad roll. So we just go 2 and 1. what else can you do? Dear oh dear. I mean, black rolls a double 4, white rolls a 2 and a 1. You know, not that great. Okay, 5 and 1 for black would mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has to play safely and not leave any checkers on their own because he doesn't want a checker to be hit and forced back here, considering these points are anchored off. So with a 5 and a 1, really, again, not a great roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would move this one space, one spot here. So 6 and a 2. Well, let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 spots there. Now all of white's checkers are in his own quarter except these 2. So white's got further to travel with these 2 checkers, but has got more checkers in his quarter than black has. So black is at a slight advantage, I would say, right now. So let's see what black can roll here. A 5 and a 2. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, advantage of having 2 advanced checkers there. Black can't move 5 spots with that checker because 5 spots would land here. So the only safe move that, and again, see, having these 2 checkers here will allow for the possibility of black being forced to have a checker on its own here, and possibly for white to do a hit and have black in all sorts of trouble. But right now, the only safe move that black can play is to go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only safe move that black can play with that roll. Well, not the only safe move, but one of the safe moves. So let's see what white can do here. It's a 6 and something. Let's just wait for that to stop rolling. 6 and a 3. With a 6 and a 3 here, white cannot play the 6 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's blocked off, and 1, 2, 3, that's blocked off too. So white can only play a 3 here, and I'd be inclined to play the 3. I would be inclined to play, I'll play 1, 2, 3 here. That leaves a checker on its own, but possible to anchor off here and possibly do a hit and have black in all sorts of trouble. I mean, if you anchor off there and hit here, black will be in serious trouble. So let's see what happens. 6 and 4. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, black can't play a 6 from this checker, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Black has to play a 6 with one of those 2 checkers. So, because 6 spots away from this checker is here, he can't play 6 with that checker. So he has to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that checker cannot be left on its own, so he must play 1, 2, 3 there. Oh dear. Well, that's not much good for white really. So what I'd be inclined to play there is to go 1 and then 1, anchor off there, and then play the other 2 checkers here. So again, now if there's a hit, black's in all sorts of trouble. 5 and a 1. Well, black can't move that. That'd be suicidal to move that. If there's a hit, all sorts of trouble. So all black can do is play 5 and a 1 here. That's it. That's all we can do. 5 and a 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, white can run. I'm not too keen on white running right now. If white runs with this checker, he'd be leaving one checker on its own. See, if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 2, white can run. But then black can only hit white with either a double 6, safely hit white with a double 6 and a 2, or a 2 and a 1. So I would be inclined, I mean, you could play a 5 and a 2 there, but then he'd be leaving that point on its own. I mean, you don't want to leave that point open, because you can go 5 and then 2, but I'm not keen on opening up that point. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, get that checker out, and these points are still nicely anchored off here just in case there's a hit. See, 4 and a 3, so see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Black cannot move that checker there, because he can't. So if he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, that checker will be safe, but that one won't be, because 3 would be here. So the only conceivable thing black can do here is to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then much of a muchness really, but let's just go 1, 2, 3. Much of a muchness. 5 and 4, well, yeah, I want to leave that checker on its own just for now. Really, again, like I said, the only way that checker can be hit is with either a double 6 or a 2 and a 1 or a double 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, if you run with that checker there, that gives black the advantage, because black's got those two checkers close to his own quarter. So let's leave that checker there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all checkers are in white's quarter now, except that one, and that could possibly do a hit. So, see, 5 and a 4. Well. 1, 2, 3. No, yeah, okay. So both checkers are. See, yeah, 5. Well, he has to play a 5 with that checker. There's no choice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 5 and a 3 would have had black in trouble. See, that's what I mean about leaving a checker on its own there being advantageous right now. 5 and a 3 would have had black in trouble. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a 4 does not leave black in trouble. White's got to run now. 4 and a 2. Yeah. I mean, white can play a 4 and a 2 within his own quarter, but black's is now going to take checkers off the board. So should white leave that one there in case there's a hit? If white runs now, there can be no hope of any more hits, and he can get hit here, see? So I don't see any point of playing 4 and a 2 in his own quarter, really. I mean, yeah, could play 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 1, 2. I mean, yeah. Now I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Let's run. Oh, double 4. Oh dear. Yeah. See, doubles can kind of. If white had a checker on its own here, if white still had that checker here, black would have had to play the double 4 with all these checkers going 4 spots here. So, but now you can just take them all off. So doubles. See, Black rolls a double 4, white rolls a 3 and a 1. I mean, black's rolling doubles, white's rolling low rolls. He needs high rolls at the moment with 1, 2, 3 and 1. Well, yeah, white's at a disadvantage right now. So 5 and a 2, black takes more checkers off the board. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a 1. Yeah, the advantage is right now clearly with black. So black rolls a 2 and a 1. White desperately needs doubles. White desperately needs doubles. 6 and 2 for white. 5 and 2 for black. So 5 and 2. White would be close to conceding right now. Oh, the hits just keep on coming for white. So 1, take those 2 off. Well, white needed doubles, but not a double 1. And let's just go 1 there. 3 and a 2 for black. Take that one off there. Black, white's close to conceding. White is close to conceding. 6 and a 4. A high roll will mean curtains for white for this game. Well, 3 and a 1. Did not roll a high roll. White will have to pretty much concede on the next roll if he doesn't roll a double. Doesn't roll a double. 3 and a 2. Yeah, white can pretty much concede now. 3 and a 1. No, it's all over for white. It's all over for white. Didn't roll a double. It's all over for white, really. 6 and a 3. Yeah. No, it's all over. It's all over because even if white rolls a double on the next roll, no, it's all over. Now, in a similar situation, I mean, I did decide to previously run when white had a checker on its own there. I decided to run in case. I mean, if black had got an ordinary roll then and white had a double, white could have won the game. But that double 4 the black rolled changed the entire game. If I had left white's checker on its own, with that particular double 4, black would have moved 4 checkers up to there. I don't think there would have been much of a chance of having a checker left on its own on that point and then white doing a hit. So I don't regret the fact that I ran that checker for white. I don't regret it that much because, like I said, if black had had a low roll and white had had a double, that could have been a victory for white. So really, whether that checker was left on its own there in case there was a hit or whether it ran didn't make much of a difference to the game. The real turning point was the double 4 for black and then white rolling a 3 and a 1, making it even more difficult to get that checker home. So really the difference was, the fact that black got a double, white got some low rolls. And then subsequently the 6 and a 1 didn't help either because white got that checker in with the 6 but had to play the 1. So really a whole lot of bad luck for white. And I want to stress with that previous roll where black rolled a 5 and a 4, if black had rolled a 5 and a 3 and then white had done a hit, that would have been almost certainly curtains for black. So it's quite interesting when you leave some checkers here on their own where situations can develop for a hit where they can change a game, or if there's no hit, you can swing the game the other way. So that was quite interesting. I think it'll be worth an analysis in a future video, but thanks again for watching.